Hey folks, this is Matt once again. And this time bringing you a review for a film called Mimesis, also known as Mimesis Night of the Living Dead. And the word mimesis means, I think, art imitating life. Either life imitating art or art imitating life, which made sense with this film. Directed by a guy named Douglas Schulze, written by Joshua Wagner and Douglas Schulze. Stars a bunch of people I'm not really familiar with. Well, you have bit parts with Sid Haig, even a little bit part at the beginning with Courtney Gaines from Children of the Corn. I really enjoyed this film. Now, I'm not saying that this is a great film, like on the level of Tucker and Dale versus Evil, or Jack vs. Monster Slayer, or even Behind the Mask, The Rise of Lizzie Vernon, or, of course, Tremors, things like that. This isn't up there. I mean, when I say I enjoyed it as a time waster. It is a time waster because it is a very low budget film. I mean, from what I read up, it's about $500,000, so not even a million, like below that, $500,000. I mean, $500,000 in this day and age. I mean, this came out in 2011, but still, pretty low budget. But I thought I was entertained enough. I was interested enough because I thought the story was. There are problems I had with the film, but I thought overall that was a really cool idea. Whereas people who go first, they go to this convention, they're invited to this party, but then they pass out, and when they wake up, they have on these weird clothes, and they realize they're in Night of the Living Dead. I'm sure they use Night of the Living Dead because that's public domain. And then what you find out, the twist, which maybe it's not that much of a twist, you could probably figure it out earlier, but which I'll spoil because I'm sure you guys will be able to figure it out because it's like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, if you don't want to hear the twist, this will be up, and when the twist is done, I'll put my can down, okay? The twist is you find out that these are not actual zombies, they're psychos that are doing this really deadly form of roleplay. You know how you have fans who are really gung-ho about putting on suits and conventions and stuff? Well, these are about this sadistic group of people who sort of, they want to live a snuff film. He's like, why watch a movie when you can live it? And they're getting this thrill out of it. And so they have drugged these people and put them in this situation. And then these psychos put makeup on themselves, and they put this metal stuff in their teeth so they can bite through the skin. And they pretend to be zombies. And they pretend to try to follow the Night of the Living Dead movie. So I thought that was an interesting idea. And I thought the lead guy, who's it, Allen Maldonado, who he's done a lot of movies, but it's like a lot of bit parts. Of course, his character is Dwayne, which is a reference to the actor Dwayne Jones and the lead in the original Night of the Living Dead. And well, it starts out with Courtney Gaines from Children of the Corn. He's on a farm, of course. Children of the Corn. Courtney Gaines on a farm. Finds his wife dead. Her stomach being eaten out. Practical effects. I mean, $500,000, then there's this horror convention with these fans, and again, you have your lead guy. I think he has his buddy with him with glasses named Russell, which I actually liked him as well. I liked the lead guy. I thought the lead guy did fine. Oscar caliber, no. But I thought he did fine enough. You know, he's a lead guy. He's the black guy. People mention, why do you keep mentioning that? Because, you know, a lot of times it's either, you know, a white girl, or it's, you know, some asshole guy, white guy. Unless it's like Blade or Blade 2 or, you know, Romero films or such. I know there are other examples, but just, you know, a lot of times in horror films I just see, oh, it's the white girl. And maybe the white guy who are the stars or live. But I thought he did fine for what he had to do. I thought he did fine. I thought his buddy, who's Russell, his character's name is Russell, I thought he did fine. They actually listened to this director talk, and the director is Sid Haig, who's talking about how, you know, when something bad happens, they blame the movies and they blame the media, but for some reason they don't want to blame themselves. I thought, you know, that's, you know, I liked what was being said. What Sid Haig was saying is that, you know, it's not the movies, it's them fucked up head. And you get the idea that I'll just say his character's name, Dwayne. Dwayne doesn't want to be there. He just, you know, he's there because his buddies wants to be there and maybe to meet someone. But while the other guy, Russell, he's really into this. And he even asks, you know, how's this a waste of time? And Dwayne goes, you can't fuck it. I like that. And then this goth girl comes up and she invites these guys to this party. And during the party, they get drugged and tricked, and then they wake up in Night of the Living Dead. And you have the Russell character. He's got his glasses, but he's, I forget the character's name in Night of the Living Dead. The one that Bill Moseley played in the remake. He has these clothes on. Then you have a Barbara character. She's got this blonde hair, who is also at the convention. She was invited to that party. Um, the girl who plays the Barbara character, she's one of the things I didn't care for. I didn't care for her acting. Granted, not as annoying as the one in the original Night of the Living Dead, but, you know, I preferred the 1990 Night of the Living Dead of that character. Patricia Tallman is, I believe, the actress's name. I thought she did the best job in that. But she's not trying to play that character. It's just she's been made to look like that for this sadistic role play. But I thought she didn't really do that great of a job. I didn't hear her to death, but I just, you know, I thought she was a weak link in the film. But then the Russell character, unfortunately, again, I didn't mind this character, and he wasn't in the film too much because he gets bit in the neck, and he gets, you know, practical effect, gets bit right here. And the girl runs, and even Dwayne, uh, he wakes up in the truck, and he's like, what's going on? Says, oh, they got your friend. No, no, don't go in there. But Dwayne, he's going to go after his friend, which I'm like, okay, it made sense that he's going to go after his friend, finds his friend bitten. I'm not going to go through every single detail so that, you know, if you want to watch the film, and if you don't like the film, you're not alone. The film gets like a 4.5 on IMDb. A lot of people didn't like it, but I thought for a low budget film that cost $500,000, I thought it was a really cool idea. I thought the acting from most of the people weren't that bad. You got some practical effects. Wasn't a downbeat ending. I liked some of the stuff that was thrown in there. I think with a bigger budget, like if it had a budget of say Cabin in the Woods, which that was a couple $1,000,000 at least. If it had a budget Cabin in the Woods, then maybe more people would have liked it and talked about it. But for how cheap they made it, I thought it was actually pretty decent. Not awesome in this, but that was pretty decent film. I didn't hate the film. I like little bits like when he gets his friend and he tries to get him to drink water. You actually see some water come out of the wound of the neck. Thought that was a nice little touch. They want to get out of there. And this one scene I didn't care for. I thought it was directed poorly because he has his friend and then the girl's with them and they're ready to, because there's no keys in the truck and nothing there. A couple zombies show up, or zombies show up. Now, it looks like the girl is tugging Dwayne and tugging him so that he drops his friend. And then he gets on the steps and he sort of stands there. And I'm thinking, why don't you go and grab your friend or grab a tire iron and smack these zombies in the face? You're kind of yelling at the screen. Why don't you do this? I'm sure you're telling me some bullshit reason. Oh, he's shot, or they might get him, or the guy's dead already because he got bit in the neck. But I think it could have been either written or directed. I can't blame the actor because he was told to do that, but blame the director. I think that scene could have been done better. That's probably my least favorite scene in the movie because I just thought it was handled badly. I think it should have been more of a rush, like if there were more zombies or if they were, going fast or if they're doing something else. Or if the girl kept pulling him and he tries to go and he can't, then I think that would have helped more. But his friend gets eaten. They find some people in the basement. They notice that there's a Night of the Living Dead movie playing on the TV, and one of the guys who's in the basement realizes that they're in the movie, so to speak. Um, Dwayne tries to go for the shed, fights one with a pitch. Well, one zombie actually gets a pitchfork and tries to kill him, but the lead guy gets like these gardening shears and stabs it right through the zombie's neck. That was cool. You have the bald guy who's the asshole who was in that character in Night of the Living Dead. But I thought it was kind of nice what they did here because he's an asshole at first, but he kind of cools down a little bit. And you think, okay, it's going to be this guy versus Dwayne because they're kind of leading up to that. But the thing is, they kind of cool that down. And then he's one of the early guys to die, which surprised me. Just like, is he going to die already? Just, oh shit, yeah, because he gets in the truck and it blows up. I'm like, oh, I didn't see that. Because in Night of the Living Dead, that character went on much longer, but that's not the case here. And like you have the woman and the kid, but they don't get, one gets bitten in the leg, but since they're not really zombies, they don't get killed. So it's like, okay, I didn't, that person, okay, they sort of play a little bit with the way the Night of the Living Dead went. And when the truck blows up and the guy is getting out, it's practical person on fire. I mean, it's actual real person on fire. And watching it kind of creeped me out a bit because it's a real person on fire. And I don't know, just the way it looked, I thought, pretty well done for a low budget film. And then he's on the ground, he's burned up and screaming in pain, and the zombies like tear him apart while he's burned up, but still alive. And I don't know, it's like, ew, kind of, ew. Like you have a scene where two zombies get in. One gets stabbed with these shears. The Dwayne hits him with a hammer, and the zombie falls down the stairs onto this pitchfork that someone else has. Pitchfork goes right through the head. Um, One thing needs to know, they find this guy. I like that the Dwayne does the smart thing here because the guy comes up with some bullshit story that we know is bullshit. We could tell. And the others are like, oh, okay, yeah, he said he woke up here like we did, and this and that and that and this. And it was Dwayne, the lead guy, the black guy, who was like, well, wait a minute. Like, he does the smart things, like, realizes this is bullshit and calls him on it and proves it. And then the guy spills the beans on what's going on, that this is this role play thing. That you know, what, is this a snuff film? No, you live in a snuff film. And that they get off on this, why watch a horror movie when you can live it? That's what I mean. I like this idea. I think that's why at the end of the day I like this film, because I like the idea. Uh, and they leave that guy behind, and that guy gets killed because he spilled the beans. They realize that the Doth girl who's there, Because I should explain, like, you had the black guy, his friend who just killed, and the blonde girl. And then when they open the basement, they find another guy who's the blonde girl's boyfriend, the bald guy who has a wife and kid, and then a goth girl, the same goth girl that had invited him there. And they realized that the goth girl was part of it, but at the same time, she didn't know because she says, "Well, they just paid me to invite people here. I didn't know any of this stuff was going to happen." They throw her out, but then Dwayne says, "Well, wait a minute. What if she's right? We can't just leave her out here." Uh, the doctor just chase it captured, and when she's tied up, you actually find out Sid Haig is there. I'm like, is Sid Haig a part of this? No, Sid Haig is a good guy, but he's tied up, and he's a director of horror films, and he's there because these assholes. What was it they say? Staring people gets old when you do this for a living. I thought the people who played the villains did a good job. Like the lead, who's a bad guy, who's bald. I liked the makeup on his face. I mean, it's simple, but I thought it worked well. I thought he did a fine job acting. I thought he had the right voice for it. He wasn't too over the top and goofy or anything like that. I thought he fit well, and even this other guy who's one of the bad guys, I thought they actually did a pretty good job. And he's talking about how we don't you don't get blamed for this and that, and shoots Sid Haig in the head, and really good effect, I thought. I mean, it looked practical to me. I mean, I didn't notice much CGI at all. Maybe once in a while I see, well, okay, someone gets ripped apart or something. I see maybe like teeny hint of CGI blood, maybe, but that's like a maybe. But for the most part, I noticed practical, which was for a low budget film that there are $10 million movies that can't do that. I thought Sid Haig gave a good speech though before they did it, because he's like, "Oh, yeah, I bet it's much easier to hurt someone else than hurt yourself, huh? You think you're a big guy? You're pathetic. You're doing this and that." Kind of like what we would want to say to these assholes who like, the Dark Knight Rises movie theater and all this other junk. Kind of what we would say. I thought Sid Haig gave a pretty good speech. Dwayne finds the girl, the goth girl, and there's like a zombie there, and he uses I forget what it is. If you see the poster of Children of the Corn, you have that weapon. It's like a scythe. It does like this, and then goes like this. I forget what the actual terminology for that. I thought it was a scythe or scythe. But for some reason, I'm thinking there's another name for it. But it goes like this, and then goes like this. So it kind of like makes like a C. He puts it right between the guy's legs and just. And and then he grabs an axe, says, and cuts the guy's hand off. And says payback's a bitch and hits him. Granted, not as spectacular as me killing mutants in the Hills of Eyes remake. Because a few people, mainly myself, have said that I kind of look like the guy from the Hills of Eyes remake. So it's not as epic as that. Because how can you get more epic than that? See, at least that they had a budget and, a more experienced director, Aja. So, great, I would love to have seen it as epic as that. Maybe with a bigger budget they could have done that, but it is what it is. Definitely not as cool as Hills of Eyes remake. I mean, Hills of Eyes remake, of course, is better. I mean, there's a lot of movies better than this. I'm not saying it's a fantastic movie. It does have problems. Like, it is a low-budget film. Kind of wish, like he could have done... Like, he kills a final stroke, but it's kind of like he hits like this into off-screen. You hear a crunch. Again, maybe because they didn't have the money to film that. But, and I didn't care for the Barbara character. Didn't care for her, like the blonde girl, but I still like that scene. And then other zombies get to try to get the others. I like that the little girl pretended to be asleep Ashley comes up and hits one in the knee, and then the mom stabs the guy right in the head here, and it pops up here. Do you see like an eyeball? So it went through, and now his eyeball's sticking out. So I thought that was. I don't know how the fuck the guy's still alive. Well, he doesn't live long. So I've seen movies where that happens. And he doesn't live long though. And the barber character grabs the gun from the lead one. Um, the others get there, and the guys explain, "Come on, isn't this a rush? Isn't this great?" And the goth girl kisses him. Like, what's she up to? And you realize she's got the metal teeth, the metal thing, and comes up and bites his neck. And the bad guy says, "Oh, the movies made me do it." I like what the lead guy Dwayne says. No, they didn't. We make our own hell. Comes up and shoots him, boom, right in the head. And again, good practical effect. And then it ends with the police are there, and you find out that it's this deadly form of role play. Which again, I really like that idea. I like the idea behind this film. I haven't really seen a film do that kind of stuff before. I think this film is miles better than Knights of Badassdom. Knights of Badassdom had a much bigger budget. I don't know what the budget behind it was. I almost want to type to find out if I can find out what the budget is. I probably won't be able to find it. But I thought, maybe it's probably not on IMDb. Yeah, it won't say what the budget is. But I think it was more than $500,000. I thought this film was a much better film than Knights of Badassdom. Because that one also dealt with role play, and that gets a higher rating, 6.2. If I could say anything, I would say I think this film is miles better than Knights of Badassdom, and it did it on a much cheaper budget. Because I liked at least some of the characters more. I liked the lead guy more. I liked the story, the idea behind it more. Yeah, it doesn't say what the budget was. At least on Knights of Badassdom, but I'm sure it was more than $500,000. I would guarantee it. But I don't want to spruce this up into you going to see the film, and if you don't like the film, fine. But I don't want to spruce up and be like, oh, what the hell? This is a low budget, cheap. I'm telling you, it's low budget. You're not alone. A lot of people don't like it. It's a 4.5, but I liked it. Does it have problems? Yeah, but I would go, it's pretty decent time waster. And usually, well, not usually, but sometimes I say time waster. I'm like, well, whatever. This actually, pretty decent time waster. Would I pick it up? Because I'll be honest, I don't have the DVD for this. But yeah, I'd pick it up. Sure, one day. Sure, why not? Because I thought it was a pretty decent story. I thought it was a pretty decent idea. I thought it was done well enough. I liked I don't know, I like the idea behind it. I like the story behind it. I like I guess the theme is the word I'm looking for. The theme behind it. People who want to live the movies, and so they paint themselves up, and it's this group of psychos who do this. They do a rush, and then they'll just blame the movies when it's their own doing. I didn't like Dwayne at the end. The lead guy says at the end, we make our own hell, and so on and so forth. Yeah, I thought the lead guy did a good enough job as the lead. I thought the film was like 80 some minutes, maybe 90 minutes. I don't think it was too long. Didn't really get that bored. I did one or two scenes, like the scene I mentioned when his buddy gets killed. I thought that could have been done better. I thought the blonde girl, the barber character. I say barber because no, that's the barber quote character. I don't think that's her real name in the movie, but that's the character in Night of the Living Dead. I didn't care for that actress. So I didn't care for the actress, and there's like one or two scenes, and it does have a low budget. I think with a bigger budget, they could have done a little bit more and stuff. But still, I liked it. I liked it for what it was. You know, I liked the story. I liked the idea. I like. Yes, I think it's an interesting idea. This really deadly game of role play. Like this is a role play that I'm like, oh, okay, these are fucked up people. This is, they're pretending to be zombies, and they bite people, but it's because they got this little like metal type teeth thing that they can put in, kind of like a boxer puts in the mouthpiece. And I thought the guys who played the villains did fine enough. Most of the actors I thought did fine enough. Um, and it was an interesting enough idea. I will say I like this more than Cabin in the Woods. I think Cabin in the Woods is still an overrated piece of shit. I like this more than Knights of Badassdom. If you don't, fine. Oh well. More power to you. I'm not gonna change my mind. So I like Mimesis, and they actually explain in the movie what Mimesis is. At least Sid Haig does. But yeah, overall, I liked it. I thought pretty well done, pretty decent. Again, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil is a lot better, and Japanese Monster Slayer and such. Um, they are better movies, I will definitely say, but I don't think this film is that bad. I mean, 4.5 or whatever it got on IMDb, I don't know. I think this is better than Nice of Bad Aston. I think this is better than Cabin in the Woods. Even with this, much lower budget, I thought it did better, at least with those films. I mean, yeah, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, Japanese Monster Slayer, Behind the Mask, Rise of Lizzie Vernon, Bubba Hotep, I think those films are better. But I still would give this a thumbs up. I still thought, you know, they did a pretty decent job with this. That's just my thoughts on it. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you later.